Good morning, sixth graders. This is Mr. Shear, and today you're doing long division with decimals. We're dividing decimals today. So just to be clear, you have an ALEKS assignment. It is a 10-question assignment in ALEKS. It's called Homework 7. And again, I'm going to ask you guys not to use a calculator on this assignment. Certainly use scratch paper and pencil, but you're going to want to practice this without a calculator. And before we get into anything else, I want to talk to you about upcoming assignments because due to conferences, today will be our last Google Meet for a week. So today, you're dividing decimals. Tomorrow on Friday, it's an unusual assignment. Every class you have is doing a grade check, and it's a Google form that we ask you, it's going to be graded, but we ask you to complete it with your parents, just assuring us that you've checked your grades as we get closer to the end of the trimester. And then I wanted to give you a preview, since we won't meet next week and there won't be videos next week, I wanted to give you a preview of what your assignments will be for the week. So Tuesday is going to be ALEKS. You're going to be adding and subtracting decimals. Wednesday, it's going to be ALEKS, multiplying decimals. You got a theme here yet? Thursday will be an ALEKS assignment, converting decimals, and Friday it'll be an ALEKS assignment, dividing decimals. So we're going to do all decimal review next week. All your assignments will be shorter, somewhere around 5 to 7 questions, because it's technically half days. And then when you guys come back after Halloween, that first Tuesday, we're going to review, and then on Wednesday, you'll have a decimal quiz. So we're going to move on from decimals after next week. All right, we're going to jump into the lesson. Just to review some vocab. The number that you are dividing is called the dividend. The number you are dividing by is called the divisor. And the answer to a division problem is called a quotient. So the dividend goes in the box, the divisor goes on the outside, and the quotient goes up on the line. Another review is that a lot of you guys remember the steps for long division. A lot of math teachers teach this saying, dad, mother, sister, brother, repeat, which stands for divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat. Again, if you struggle with long division, yesterday's lesson was all about long division. So always good to practice. I like dead monkey smells bad, really, instead of dad, mother, sister, brother. It's the same thing. It stands for divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and the really stands for repeat. Okay, so we're going to jump into it. And the big thing to know is you cannot divide a decimal by a decimal. You cannot divide by a decimal, at least not with a calculator. So you can't actually work this problem out without doing a few little steps. So I'm going to walk you through 5 examples. And we'll start with this problem. All right, so first things first, set up your problem. Again, the dividend goes in the box, so 17.1. The divisor goes outside the box. Next, you're going to move your decimal. If I move my decimal once on the outside, it's the divisor that tells me how many times I'm going to have to move my decimal. Because there's one decimal place here on the outside, then I have to move it one place on the inside. So again, the divisor, the number of places you have to move the decimal on the outside, determines how many places you move the decimal on the inside. So we end up with 17.1 divided by the whole number of 9. And then just to walk you through, 9 doesn't go into 1. It goes into 17 once. 1 times 9 is 9. I subtract, I get 8. I bring down my 1. 9 goes into 81 9 times. 9 times 9 is 81. What you'll notice is that my answer is 1 and 9/10, but the decimal just moves up on the line. So again, the long division is the hardest part, but all we did was we moved the decimal over 1 based on the number on the outside, and then we solved, making sure the decimal moves up on the line. Which brings me to a good point. The most important thing I can tell you is to use lined paper and keep your decimals lined up. For a lot of kids, it's just keeping the rows when they do long division. That's where they get confused. So don't be afraid of long division. Set yourself up well with some graph paper, some line paper if you have it, but keep your work lined up. It'll really help you out. Let's do a second example. So I have 2.64 divided by 0.6. Okay, so I set it up. Dividend in the box, divisor outside the box. You'll notice there's one decimal on the divisor, so I move it over once. Whatever I do to the outside, I have to do to the inside. And my problem becomes 26.4 divided by 6. 6 goes into 26 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24, remainder 2, bring down that last 4. 6 goes into 24 again 4 times, and the decimal is just going to move right up to give me an answer of 4.4. Okay, what about a whole number divided by a decimal? 52 divided by 0.4. No worries. Again, the divisor is going to go outside, and I'm going to have to move it once, so I have to move it once on the inside as well, and that's going to give me the need to add a 0. And that's fine. So it becomes 520 divided by 4. And in this case, you'll notice that the decimals can basically almost drop off, giving you a normal long division problem. 520 divided by 4. So 4 goes into 5 once. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, I get 1. I bring down the 2. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. And drop down that 0. 4 goes into 0 0 times. My answer is 130. But again, in this case, the big tweak or different thing was I had to add a 0 to the dividend. Okay, this looks intimidating, but it's not. Remember, the first number is the number that goes in the box, that's your dividend, and the second number is the number that goes outside the box, that's your divisor. So it looks like this. You move your decimal over 2 spaces because the divisor has 2 spaces. So now I'm going to get 0.9 divided by 18, and that's going to be a little bit different because what I'm going to have to add here at the end is a 0. 18 is not going to go into 9, so my decimal moves up here on the line. So in this case, I just added a 0. And 18 goes into 90 an exact 5 times. So this problem shows me working it out to the extreme. I said 18 goes into 0, 0 times 18 is 0. I brought down my 9, 18 goes into 9. 0 times 0, 8 times 18 is 0. I brought down my 9, and to finish it out, you can always add zeros after any decimal point. You can always add zeros to the end. 18 goes into 90 5 times. My answer is 0.05 or 5/100. And last problem. 11.2 divided by 0.07. Again, put your dividend in the box, put your divisor outside the box. And hopefully what you're seeing is you're going to have to move the decimal 2 times. And I just want to point out that some students just choose to move the decimal at the end of their math, which is fine. You can think of this as 7 goes into 11 once. 1 times 7 is 7. 11 minus 7 is 4. Bring down the 2. 7 goes into 42 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. In this case, I had to add a 0, so my answer is 160. You can always do that and then move your decimal so that your answer is, you can always move the decimal at the end if that's more helpful to you. All right, I expect that there'll be some questions on this. I expect this will be a little bit of a struggle assignment for a lot of you. Long division is tough. Adding decimals into the mix makes it extra tough. But remember, again, you're practicing. I know you can do it. And as always, if you're stuck on a problem, if you're having a hard time, email me. Ask me for some help. I'm happy to help. So it's an ALEKS assignment. It's 10 questions. You got this. And it's called Homework 7. Thanks for watching, 6th graders, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.